They always say the FA Cup is something special on Tyneside, but Newcastle United weren't even playing on one of the greatest cup nights St James's Park has ever seen. It was February 1978 and Blyth Spartans from the Northern League were playing for a place in the FA Cup quarter-final against Arsenal. Jack Marks will never forget that night, nor will the lucky 42,000 fans who stuffed inside the ground. But before we hear Jack's memories, the Blyth players have been reliving a story that took 9 rounds and 11 games to reach St James's Park. The end of a fairy tale, but no fairy tale ending. Wrexham may have beaten Blyth in a 5th round replay, but when the torrent of emotion had subsided, these players had guaranteed themselves a place in football folklore. And the boys were back at the Toon at the recent Chelsea game, and another ovation a quarter of a century on. Everything had changed since their day, except the affection and applause of the crowd, and that unquenchable Blyth spirit. There'd been plenty of that flowing at Croft Park 2 days earlier, the real anniversary party, 25 years to the night of that famous replay. Yes, waistlines were thicker, hair was thinner, but the crack among the lads had survived. Friendships had been forged on a cup journey from Shildon through Crook, Consett and Bishop Auckland before the first round was even reached. What a team they must have been.
Kickers, I think. Tommy. But you could kick then, you see, you can't kick anybody now. Just, I mean, there were a lot of talented lads, a lot of hard workers, and like you see, you were frightened to be able to say because it was hard work to get back in. Defensively, you've talked about lots of 1-0s, haven't you? 2-0s, 1-0s, and the boys at the back just had it sorted. Really, really strong at the back. If he got past Cutty, Dick, I would kick him. If he got past Dick, I would kick him. So, you know, it was sorted.
The Enfield game, though, that was a really tough game, wasn't it? I think there was a bit of a grudge, wasn't there, in the club for Enfield?
Well, there might have been, because it turned out to be a little bit of a battle, and Stevie Carney was over the moon. I used to love it when teams used to come to fight. That was right up his street, and he duly got sent off.
I mean, 70s football was a bit different from now. I mean, you really could get stuck in those days, couldn't you?
No, Stevie was just dirty.
Yeah. An absolutely filthy day at Stoke was the only thing that managed to stop the Spartans. They ploughed their way through Burscough, Arthur Cox's Chesterfield and yet another non-league club, Enfield, to get their big day in round 4. But 2 postponements couldn't save 2nd Division Stoke. It took Blyth's goal machine Terry Johnson less than 10 minutes to let everyone know the dream was still alive. Now, camera work has improved like pitches, but this was Stoke's reply, scored by Viv Busby. Yes, that one. But those hardy Northumberland souls refused to buckle when City took the lead. The scorer has enjoyed better nights in front of the cameras since. Garth Crooks for 2-1. Sadly, Steve Carney's equaliser for Blyth was lost to posterity. But the cameras were rolling again for the big moment. 3-2 Spartans at the death. Johnson again.
That was the hardest centre-forward I've ever seen. Tremendous finisher, and as a player, he was top of the range.
A maths teacher at Wrighton Comprehensive was masterminding this campaign. Brian Slane had scored twice in the early qualifiers, but then couldn't get in his own team. The driving force, though, was a real football character, Jack Marks.
Come on, Tommy, aggression!
They were the team behind the team.
Go!
Slaney done brilliant. He was nice and quiet at the back row while Jackie was ranting and raving. Nobody took any notice of Jackie. He was just talking to Brian, but never mind.
It should never have been Wrexham in round 5. Newcastle had ruined everything by losing a replay against the Welsh side. The modern Spartans relived that momentous game. And when Terry Johnson yet again gave them the lead, it all came flooding back. Maybe they'd win it this time. Johnson had scored in that distant first tie at Shildon, still going 9 rounds on. There were no breaks on this coach, though. Now, every good story needs controversy, and here it comes. Minutes to go, Bobby Shinton and skipper John Waterson. Never a corner, ref. For God's sake, man. They know what's coming next. There's no corner flag when Wrexham take a second corner. The ref's a stickler. Take it again. Too cruel for words. This time, Dixie McNeil gets them out of jail. 25 years on, it gets no better.
Sickened me just as much sitting there now, 25 years ago, yeah, sure. And drinking with the same guy, Shinton, in the Wrexham dressing room after the game. He said himself that it wasn't a corner.
So to St James's, the winners at home to Arsenal, same ref Alf Gray, this time it's a dodgy pen. Ronnie Scott breathes on McNeil. Graham Whittle was not a sentimental man. He lashes in the spot kick. Now Wrexham's second was a belter, and Dixie McNeil was some goal scorer. But you can't end it all on a note like that. So Johnson, of course, hit a peach himself. All Tyneside had been willing it. Nobody had seen a night like it, not even cup winners.
Newcastle's fantastic at the moment, but at the time they were having a bad spell, and I think with Blyth on a great cup run and Newcastle doing badly, I think we revived the North East football a wee bit.
What does it mean to you to be, the captain of Blyth Spartans, perhaps one of the most famous cup stories of all time?
Certainly the proudest moment of my career, captain in Blyth. Certainly that year, fortunate enough to be captain because there was plenty of players who could certainly have, spun the coin up, because that's what it was, but it was a tremendous honour.
Everywhere you go, still, if I go into Blyth now on a Saturday, someone will say, hello, Tommy, how are you doing? You don't even know the face, but you say hello, and that's what it means. It means everything to the town.
Everybody had faith in everybody, and we went out, we had nothing to lose, we didn't fear anybody, and I think that was it. There was really never any pressure on us, and we went out and we did it, and we got to the stage where we were expecting to do it.
What you've learned tonight when we've spoken with these lads is they've all got a mental strength. It's not just about ability, it's about character and strength of character that they wanted to win. And it's shown among the lads again tonight.
Jack, what a pity you missed the big reunion, but what a great bunch of lads they are, aren't they?
Yeah, they were great lads. There's some real characters amongst them, and we trained hard. It was really hard training, and it was a special team, really. I mean, like Alan Schuller was really the Cockney, because he lived in County Durham, you see, and he used to meet him. But he was a great little fella, and he was a great player, and he proved it in later years. He had 3 years at Newcastle's leading goal scorer. When you have lads like that, and you're playing a game, and you play a game, and you've got to go to work at 7 o'clock the next morning. I mean, we went to Stoke 3 times. And even when we beat them 3-2, we were all back at work at 7 o'clock the next morning.
11 games that run. I mean, it must have taken over your lives.
It did. It took over my life. I mean, you were there, you were coaching, you were training, you were picking the strips up of the floor, cleaning the floor, and scouting, looking for players, because we kept on signing players right the way through. Just improving the team all the time.
Well, it could have been Newcastle. It should have been Arsenal. So what about that night at St James's Park?
The bus couldn't get into the ground. There was that many people there. For a little team like Blyth, for a crowd like that, and I mean, there's so many people saying to me, I had a ticket, but I couldn't get into the match. I didn't think we could ever get beat. I mean, we never tried to play defensive. We just went and played. And the crowd, the emotion, the tension, the hard work we'd put in, and to be really robbed in the finish. I mean, the referee was a bit harsh with the penalty kick. If we'd got the goal about 5 minutes earlier, Wrexham were down and out on their feet, we would have beat them, there's no doubt about that.
Well, the crowd loved you at the end, though. I mean, it was amazing.
Well, it's one of these things that happens once in a lifetime. I don't think anybody will ever get into the 6th round draw in a non-league team again, to be honest. It was just absolutely fantastic.
Now, one thing we should clear up, speed oil. Tell us exactly about speed oil.
We used to do a bit of chanting, a little bit of singing, but then I introduced the speed oil, which was whiskey. And everybody used to have a little sip before the game. They couldn't drink it, wash their mouth out, put out. Apart from me, I could drink it. Yeah. And when it got out about the speed oil, I got gallons of whiskey from all over the country. People, every ground went, there was a gallon of whiskey there. Man, we tried to finish it off the best way we could. After the matches, though, mind. Not during the match.
An amazing story. Pity you missed the big night, but it's been great that you've come in and talked to us again. Jack, thanks very much indeed.